So I was driving back from Ohio and I just listened to Drake albums for the first time in a really, really long time. Here's the thing. When I was in high school, when I was in high school, this was around like the views, more life, like that type of that era, okay? And I remember because after More Life, I kind of fell off of the Drake train a little bit. Except that when I was on the Drake train, oh my goodness, I was going hard, like for real. No one could tell me that Drizzy was not the GOAT, okay? And I real life go to bat for him, like. You're not gonna sit here and tell me that Drake is not one of the greatest. Like, stop playing. And I just felt like no one had just it wasn't even his flow necessarily. It wasn't his flow or his style or even his approach, because we've seen all that be done before. Where? Wayne. And so for me with Drake, I feel like what really made me fall in love with his music was I think for me, Drake has a way of being romantic that is, I feel like, a contradiction to the genre that he's in. Oh my goodness. I'm like, does that make sense? No, it makes perfect. It actually makes perfect sense. Like if you really listen to Drake and you like know Drake, you know Drizzy is a freaking hopeless romantic. In reality, he's like big lover boy energy. It's not even a joke, for real. I like yeah, I feel like maybe he used it for marketing at some point. It's not a joke though. Like, he's really a lover boy, and I feel like the type of lover boy that he is kind of defies his genre. Because rap music and hip hop, and I mean, like, yeah, you can consider Drake R&B at times. Like, he has his R&B moments. I still wouldn't put him in the R&B genre, just because I feel like Drake is a rapper. Not to categorize him and say that a rapper is all he is, but in terms of his genre of music, I would place him in the rap hip hop category. So with that being said, hip hop music isn't necessarily romantic to me, although I feel like it can be turned into romance, and I feel like Drake has mastered that. He's like mastered romanticizing this really hard, like, gangsta this like genre that's really for gangsters. And I'm not saying Drake not a gangster. He could do whatever he want to be, he could be whoever he want to be. I'm just saying, he's been able to romanticize it in my head. And I was listening to More Life, track by track, it's been so long since I did that. Listen to More Life track by track. I haven't listened to Views in a minute. And then we listened to If You're Reading This Is Too Late. The fact that that's a mixtape, and I just feel like it's the hardest mixtape that he ever put out, that he will probably ever put out. It's just that right now I don't really listen to his music because it's not for me. I feel like now Drake's music is for like the type of people that enjoy going to the club. I don't enjoy going to the club. I really don't, which is probably why I feel like when his music was a little bit more poetic and sounded a little bit more like journal entries than like rap songs, I feel like now his music is something different. And I'm not saying that it's wrong, because I feel like nothing can be wrong in the universe. I just feel as though maybe I changed, maybe it's me. I think what I expect from rap music now isn't innovation. I respect more now than ever a certain quality composition. I respect tradition. I respect conventionalism when it comes to rap music now, when it comes to hip hop now. I think innovative things turn me off because it lacks originality for me. And I feel like being original in a time where everybody is remixing and sampling is just inventive. Is that a word? Inventive? It's a word today. I think it's creative because I feel like it would take a lot more thinking, a lot more heart, a lot more inspiration, a lot more soul to create something that's completely original than to sample something and remix it and make it sound new. And I feel like Drake is like literally the father of 21st century sampling and remixing. like Drizzy has that down pat. I feel like I haven't seen any artist really take a sample and turn it into something beautiful the way that Drake has, other than like Wayne. But we're not talking about Wayne right now. We're talking about Drake. I feel like views changed my life for sure. I just think that I'm the type of person that falls in love with an artist and they can define an entire era of my life. And so I feel like maybe I'm just not in the era anymore where Drake is that artist for me. And I really think it's just because of my personality. Like, I think his target audience are literally like women who are nothing like me. And that's cool, you know what I mean? It's just sometimes it's like, kind of sad a little bit because I really loved Drake's music. And sometimes I want to vibe with him today. There's just too much dissonance because his beats are different, his approach is different, his energy is different. And I mean, like, I didn't expect him to be the same because he said nothing was the same. And, you know, it really ain't. It really ain't whole time. Like, although I can say, like, I appreciate Drake and I appreciate Drizzy for the shifts and the shaping that he did to culture. He broke down a lot of walls and a lot of barriers that allow for new artists today to, I feel like, make sense to the general public. Make sense, like Jack Harlow. Jack Harlow makes sense today, and I feel like that's because, not only because, it's just that I feel like one of those reasons is because Drake did some things before. Like, he set some standards before, broke some boundaries before, that I feel like created a space for an artist like Jack Harlow to, you know, like, be able to be impressionable in a way that's attractive and romantic. You know, it's a romanticized, like, rapper type of vibe that Drake has allowed to be okay. And, you know, I just feel like we won't ever have another Drake. Like, that's what I'm trying to get across. And I respect the era of my life and the time of my life where I felt like Drizzy was the GOAT, because I feel like he'll always be that to me. Yeah, and I just want to, like, say thank you to him for all the times that he made me want to be a rapper. You know what I mean? Like, he made me want to be a rapper and be romantic and, like, you know, do whatever I want with love and talking about love, even if it isn't falling in love, even if it's falling out of love, if we're talking about heartbreak, if we're talking about this and that. And, you know, he's been able to take relationships and make it a conversation in rap music. Not saying that they haven't been a part of the conversation in rap music. It's just that it's kind of different. Normally, things are a bit more sexualized in the hip-hop genre. And I feel like, I'm not saying that Drake doesn't sexualize. I'm just saying that he's been able to achieve conversations in his music that make relationships acceptable. you know, to like men who probably listen to hip hop and listen to rap and only hear like fuck bitches get money, you know what I mean? And then Drake is like, oh girl, I love you, like I wanna wife you, like and then Drake came in and make it okay to like actually be a lover boy in real life, for real. And I love that and I appreciate that. And yeah, that's all I gotta say.